on Tuesday, and we will have more on that next up.
There will also be a live interview on set with the Vice President of CSUN. Stay tuned. Welcome to Studio G. My name is Lei Caldejon.
And I'm Matthew Guanga. Thank you for joining us. Breaking news has arose on campus surrounding a dorm room being broken into a homeless man. There will be an emergency meeting tonight at 7 p.m. on WebEx with the Residence Hall Association. President Biden delivered his first State of the Union Tuesday evening. Biden opened the address speaking on COVID-19 and how the U.S. is making plans to shift towards a life with COVID.
My fellow Americans, last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight, we meet as Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another, to America, to the American people, to the Constitution, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
Biden announced plans to fix highway and bridges sing funds from the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over 65,000 miles of highway and 1,500 bridges in disrepair. And folks, when we use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America, we're going to do it by buying America. Buy American products. Support American jobs.
Biden thanks both parties for their work on this project and says it's going to put Americans on the path to economic competition with the world. As well, speaking on the events unfolding between Ukraine and Russia, he announced new restrictions aimed at hurting Russia's economy and closing American airspace to any Russian flights.
I know news about what's happening can seem alarming to all Americans, but I want you to know we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy. He has no idea what's coming.
Both parties seem to be aligned on Biden's stance on the Russia-Ukraine situation. The address received reactions, both positive and negative, from all sides. As his plans start to unfold, we will see how the American public reacts. Rental space company Airbnb is offering free temporary housing for up to 100,000 Ukrainian refugees. While their country's military forces are fighting back against the Russians, many civilians were left with no shelter and little to no food. Studio G reporter Matthew Guanga has more on the story.
CEO Brian Chesky and Chairman Joe Gebbia have sent letters to officials from Romania, Poland, Hungary, and Germany offering housing to those fleeing Ukraine. Their stay will be fully funded through Airbnb.org, donors and hosts alike. Airbnb is known for housing displaced families during a time in need. Airbnb made it apparent that they will remain steadfast and ensure that those who come will be greeted with open arms. At least 1 million refugees have fled the country, making it the biggest European migration since World War II. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Matthew Kwanga.
Similar housing companies followed suit with Airbnb to provide housing for refugees. There have been 1 million refugees in total that fled Ukraine. Help is pouring in from big to small in support for their support.
Just last week, our school district superintendent, Dr. Jesus Hara, addressed teacher shortage in his revised goal. Just hiring reporter Anna Meza has the details.
At the Clark County School District's Board of Trustees meeting on February 24th, Superintendent Hara presented his revised list of goals for the upcoming school year. The list of goals included, most notably, the need to hire 1,655 classroom teachers before November 1st of this year. After his presentation, trustees stressed the need to address the strain on CCSD because of the high turnover of instructors in the current school year. Although the plan was approved, many agreed the need to also include retention efforts in future goals.
Quite frankly, we're bleeding teachers right now. We're losing educators. They're leaving. They're writing to us. They want to know what we're going to do.
This is Anna Meza reporting for Studio G.
The Nevada Department of Education also took action on the current staffing shortages, only a day after CCSD meeting, renewing an emergency motion allowing substitute teachers to apply for licensing with only a high school diploma, a position that required college credits pre-pandemic.
The UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released a new report that further solidifies the future damages of global warming. Studio G reporter Jonathan Corral brings us more.
The latest UN climate change report gives us more evidence about the long-term consequences of present-day global warming, which include many catastrophes for both the environment and humans. It's estimated that by 2100, children that are alive today may face up to 5 times the amount of climate catastrophes, such as heat waves, flooding, droughts, and storms. The report explains how there are already about 3.3 billion people on Earth whose lives are vulnerable to extreme weather conditions, and that predicted worsening conditions will only take more lives. Continued warming would also make certain places uninhabitable, leading to mass amounts of displacement for many if temperatures continue rising. By 2050, 1 billion people could lose their homes due to coastal flooding alone. The extinction of many animal and plant species is possible as well. The study explains how places such as Africa, Central and South America, and South Asia are all the largest hotspots for these catastrophes. The study suggests that richer nations move towards lessening their carbon emissions, while also financially helping lesser developed nations, who are impacted most by the problems caused by the developed nations. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Jonathan Corral.
According to the study, immediate action to reduce carbon emissions should be top priority of the world's governments.
Americans should expect to see gas prices surge to nearly $5 amid the war between Russia and Ukraine. Studio G, Luis Soto has more on the story.
For those of us driving, we have noticed recently that gas prices have increased. We were at $3 per gallon, but now we are reaching over $4 a gallon, and we may need to keep expecting an increase further than $4 as the conflicts in Russia continue. This is Luis Soto reporting for Studio G.
The current average for gas in America is $3.61, which is up 26 cents from February and nearly $1 from a year ago. I suggest fellow Americans to ease up on the gas as much as possible.
Some big changes are coming to campus. UNLV created a master plan outlining the different renovations and new buildings set to be built on and around the campus. The plan includes an advanced engineering building, a new fine arts building, an interdisciplinary science and technology building, and even a new student union. The university has also outlined smaller scale projects such as open walkways, wayfinding, and landmark signs. For more information on UNLV's master plan, visit their website at unlv.edu/masterplan.
Speaking on things on campus, the UNLV Writing Center is celebrating 25 years of helping students get better grades on their papers. Studio G, Barry Sabine has more.
The Writing Center is focused on collaboration and in-person learning that helps students in their journey at UNLV. Here's what Tim Buchanan had to say about the mission over the years at the Writing Center.
What we believe in are writers who want to improve in some way. Maybe they're underconfident, they see room for improvement, or they want validation that they are making the right moves in their writing.
You can get in touch with the Writing Center at 702-895-3908 or by going to the Desert Center Complex a ways past the School of Hospitality. I am Barry Sabine Jr. reporting for Studio G.
Be sure when you enter the Writing Center to have 2 copies of the assignment and wish them a happy birthday. Vegas has had a pretty big, relaxing week in terms of the weather, but will the valley begin cooling down? Nicholas Todorovich brings you weather after the break.
If you're a parent, you've done it all this past year. But the one thing you may not have done is take care of yourself. At Boys Town, we know that a parent's mental health is important too. Visit boystown.org/stressedout for great self-care tips for parents. You can even download an ebook to guide you and your family through self-care strategies. Because healthy parents are key to happy families.
Welcome back, everyone, to this to Studio G for this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I'm Nick Todorovich, and I'll have your weather. So let's look at the weather right now. Well, about 74 degrees, partly cloudy with wind speed about 5 miles an hour. It's not looking too bad for the wind, but this could be changing tonight, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's look at the valley temperatures. So the whole valley is somewhere in the 70s. Summerlin has our low at 72 degrees. Henderson has our high at 77. Everything else is somewhere in the middle of the 70-degree mark. And if we look at our weather headline, so it's partly cloudy, low wind speeds for now, but this might be changing tonight. And tonight will be chilly, but also cloudy. And if we look at the evening planner, at 3 p.m., we'll reach our high for today at 78 degrees. 6 p.m., the Golden Knights play the Bruins, so if you're going at the game, expect 74-degree weather. At 9 p.m., when that game is expected to finish, it'll be 67. So if you're going to that game, I do want you to bring a sweater or a jacket because it will be chilly. And if you're up late at midnight partying, if the Golden Knights win, expect some cold temperatures at 61 degrees. And for tomorrow morning, it'll be 53 degrees. It'll be very chilly. Sunrise is at 6:06. So if you do go jogging, bring a sweater, wear some joggers because it will be cold for sure. And for the 7-day forecast, so we'll start off today at 81 degrees for the high, low of 52 degrees. But we can expect some overnight wind and also the humidity to raise because we will drop 18 degrees going into tomorrow. The high will be 63, and this decrease will go into Saturday as well with the high at 54 degrees. Then we'll have a slight increase Sunday at 63. Monday and Tuesday will be in the low to mid 60s, and then Wednesday we can go back to 72 degrees and keep the 70 weather going. So that's all I have for the weather. Stay put for our upcoming interview with the Vice President of CSUN.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes, you know, from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
CSUN is the student government for the UNLV student body. And as elections are coming up, I'm joined by Vice President Abe Lugo. Abe, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, thank you.
So, fun fact, almost a year ago today, we were sitting in the same position. It was me, you, and Karen, and you guys were actually running for office. So I want to know, how has your journey been? How has it been in office? You're almost at a full year, so how's that going for you?
Oh my gosh, what a question. Yeah, no, it's been an absolutely amazing journey. I think I've had a very particular and specific experience as an undergraduate student, but having my role as vice president, just being in CSUN in general, has given me such a wholehearted, beautiful undergraduate journey, and I'm super happy to be here. Sad it's ending, but you know, it's been a busy year, so tired, and it's okay. It's ready to move on for sure.
You've had a long one.
Yeah.
At the start of this, we were in the midst of a pandemic. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Joe Biden's talking about life with the pandemic. What is that looking like for students, and what changes are we making on campus?
Absolutely, great question. So there's been a lot of back and forth throughout this entire year. At first, we had our mandates, and then the mandates were revoked, and now we're kind of divided in whether we want it or not. So right now, really what we're saying is we're still encouraging students to wear masks. It's no longer required. We are still trying to focus our big scale events for students to be outside. I know we've had the parties in the PIDA and they've been outside, so we've been able to congregate and gather. But for right now, I think we're just trying to promote safety. I know we just ordered a bulk order of COVID-19 rapid testing. So if you do need that, that is available, widely accessible for students at the pharmacy. You can walk right in and pick that up.
Perfect. And you mentioned a lot of the festivals that we've had going on in the plaza and everything like that. And I know once you started your campaign, you guys had a big focus on student involvement. So where do you see that going, and how does the planning for these types of events go in?
That's a great question. So one of two kind of big points that we promised last time at the beginning of the term that I was here was turning the diversity we have into inclusion and then raising visibility. And so one of the primary ways that we've been doing that has been these big events and having these events to gain this campus culture and make sure that individuals are coming to campus having a good time is one thing, but also focusing them on an educational aspect and promoting the identities that we have on campus. So I know we've had Lunar New Year, we are having an upcoming Women's History Month, we just had Black History Month, so every month we try to do that, and I think moving forward, we want that to translate over to the next administration. But again, it's completely up to the individuals that are in office. Hopefully, at the core, we can continue what we started, and that's making sure that UNLV has become a place that people want to be at, want to go to events, want to get involved, and get better every single time.
Right. And we talked about the upcoming election. So last week was the official start of election season. Yeah. Where can people find more information about the potential candidates and about the upcoming events that you guys are holding?
Absolutely. So two main places which are great is one, we send out student body emails pretty often. Sorry if we're annoying, but you have the information there right in your Rebel mail. So you can go UNLV CSUN on your search and all of the breakdown for everything will always be popped up in your email. But if that's too boring for you, you can absolutely go to our social media on at UNLV CSUN and on at Yap Lugo, which is myself and President Yap's Instagram. And we post updates on there in terms of the next event that we have for elections. On March 10th, so relatively soon, from 3 to 7, we're going to have that next party in the PIDA. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be centered around Women's History Month, but it's called Policy and Primaries. So we're going to be talking about policies within the Nevada scale and the UNLV scale, and then also promote voting throughout the day for the primaries on March 10th, and we will also be announcing who's moving on to general elections. So a lot of exciting stuff on March 10th. Be sure to be there, PIDA Plaza.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your information. Up next, Studio G reporter Molly Peters is back with yet another food interview. Stay with us.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story.
because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes, you know, from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you could make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Feeling hungry but don't know where to eat? Studio G Molly Peters has a perfect spot for you in this week's restaurant review.
For this week's restaurant review, I headed over to one of my favorite spots in the Las Vegas Valley. Dirt Dog, a growing chain of restaurants on the West Coast, is the perfect spot for a full meal or just a quick snack. It's got a hip vibe, from artwork of popular hip-hop artists to an entire wall covered in money. Rebecca Lally, a Dirt Dog regular, describes it as a restaurant unlike any other.
So the vibe at Dirt Dog is they play like 90s hip-hop music. They've got posters of famous rappers like Eminem and Snoop Dogg. They have Kobe Bryant hanging on the wall. They've got flames and neon signs, and it's not too pricey. My favorite item on the menu is the elote dog, which is like a street corn on top of a hot dog. It's delicious. They also have fried Oreos and ice cream. So come check it out.
Each hot dog is wrapped in crispy bacon and loaded with toppings. Guests also have the option to X-grade their food, which adds flaming hot Cheetos and Taki dust on top. If you're feeling brave, X-grade with ghost pepper flakes is also an option. In true Vegas style, draft beers are available for guests over 21. For Studio G News, I'm Molly Peters.
Dirt Dog has 3 different locations in the Las Vegas Valley, with the 4th on the way. Head on over to their website at dirtdogla.com to find one near you. The Henderson Silver Knights have a new home. Studio G reporter Jacob Teller has more on the development.
The Henderson Silver Knights have been playing in the New Orleans Arena for the past 2 seasons. The Silver Knights have been above 500 in the win column in back-to-back seasons. The capacity of the New Orleans Arena is nearly 9,500, which is 3,500 more than their new arena in Henderson. The Dollar Loan Center will be a much more intimate scene for fans of the Silver Knights to enjoy. The new stadium is located on Silver Knight Way and Green Valley Parkway. It was estimated that it would take 18 months to finish building the $84 million stadium. With nearly 160 workers on site, the stadium came together quicker than the city anticipated. The first event at the Dollar Loan Center will be the Big West Basketball Championship, and it will run March 8th through the 12th. After the Big West Tournament, the Vegas Nighthawks will open up their season for the Indoor Football League on March 18th. Make sure to check out all the action that will be happening at the Dollar Loan Center. This is Jacob Teller reporting for Studio G.
Be sure to check out your local Silver Knights at the Dollar Loan Center next season.
Running Rebels got a fast start with a Royce Hamilton 3, but 1 3 wasn't enough. He got his second 3 on the 3rd position. Jordan McCabe got in on the 3 barrage from the corner. His number may be 2, but Justin Webster hit a corner 3 to tie the game at 40. The Rebels would continue to hold on to the lead and win at 64-57. Netflix is once again raising their prices on their subscriptions. Here's Quinnell with more on that segment.
Once again, Netflix is raising their prices. So we want to go and ask some of the students around campus what they thought about it. Let's go find out. So what do you think about the Netflix prices going up?
I've seen this happening a lot, especially Hulu just did their price spike. I think, to be honest, it's kind of BS, I would say. You've seen Netflix post or start uploading more movies and stuff, and they're doing their own productions, and I think that might be a byproduct as to why they need to have more money to be able to sort of expand.
I just wanted to ask you, what did you think about the latest increase in prices on Netflix?
That sucks.
What do you think about the latest increase in prices on Netflix?
How much is it increasing?
So the standard price, it's from $14 to $15.50. Remember, it started at like $6 before. So now it's up to $15. And then for the 4K, it's like $18 to $20. Oh no, $16 to $20. So.
I mean, it sucks, but we're all gonna do it. So we all love Netflix, so.
Okay. What do you guys think about Netflix prices?
I thought it's ridiculous, if I'm being honest.
That sucks.
I understand the price if they're gonna bring on something crazy like hella movies, but if they're not gonna be doing much different from they're doing now, I think it's gonna hurt my pockets for sure, and it might force me to, divert to other forms of sources and stuff that I can go watch that media from.
The new Netflix prices will go into effect immediately for new subscribers. For current subscribers, they will get a 30-day notice by email when it will go into effect. This is Quinnell reporting for Studio G. Thank you.
Hopefully those prices being raised fits in your budget, or it's on to the next. Also, I want to let you guys know about a location here in Las Vegas for all you movie lovers. Reporter David Cruz is going to tell us about this new museum.
I'm at Fremont Street in the movie prop experience wearing the 2004 Punisher vest originally worn by Thomas Jane. And I'm here exploring this experience so you guys can see some real movie magic.
We put this place together because we had a great opportunity down here at the Neonopolis. My business partner and I work with HeroProp.com, or owners of HeroProp.com. And a lot of these pieces have just been in storage, and we just thought it was a shame to have them in storage, and we thought we'd bring them out for the public to see. And a lot of pieces that have come through our hands have gone into private collections and often not seen again. So we just thought we had a missed opportunity there to for the general public to come out and have a look. We've been avid collectors for years now, like you said, upwards of 20 years, and a lot of these pieces are ours, and we're really happy to show them off. And I think we have close to 800 pieces here, 700-800 pieces.
Well, I think a lot of this is giving people the opportunity to see these things up close that they've seen on screen, and they want to see more. And you can see all the work that goes into just the little bit that you see on a screen. There's tons of work that goes into this, months. Each piece can take 10, 12 people to make, and it could take six weeks to build. Some things can take 3 months to build. It all depends on the size of the project. Well, we have an Instagram, it's a movie prop experience. Same with Facebook, movie prop experience, and the website, moviepropexperience.com.
This is David Cruz, still wearing the vest, from Studio G. Back to the studio.
Wow, I wonder what else is at that museum that you didn't get to show us.
The movie theaters will be packed with DC fans once the Batman hits the big screen on Friday. AMC Theaters is charging more for the Batman. Starting Robert Pattinson, then for other films playing at the same theater during the same time, Rotten Tomatoes currently has the movie rated at 86%. Some critics are saying the movie is not just good, but one of the best Batman movies to date. See for yourself on Friday. Wow. Thank you for watching.
Be sure to tune in Tuesday at noon for more Studio G.